with all the typing, I finished this book and I'm like, oh, now I can't. It's not visible. Yeah, yeah. We can move it. I'm just going to teach on it. Take my ear off. Sorry, guys. Take this. Let me turn this off. Are we on? Yes. How is everybody tonight? Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to answer. Okay, so let's sit quietly for a few moments. We'll do our Śaraṇāgata dīnārtha prayer too, and then I'll teach you the Tāre mantra. We'll do that also. And just take some breaths as people settle in, and it's kind of nice to meditate when there's sound in the background and footsteps and people chatting and laughing. There's kind of a sweet settling of life, like the chirping of the birds. It's no problem, just sound. But if it goes on for a while, we're going to tell them to be quiet and come on in. Feel your belly. Breathe into your belly. Notice if there's tension in your jaw and your face. There's a beautiful trick that my Tibetan teacher taught me. We can open our eyes here when you're trying to just settle your mind in its natural state, let's let go of everything. What you can do is inhale, just watch. I'll do it once, and then you can join me. We'll do it 3 times together, but just watch this one. So you inhale, raise your arms. Don't do it that way. I'm just doing it. and then rest. And he taught to do it 3 times. So that's that feeling of just letting everything go. And then resting in that space. So let's do 3 times. Inhale. And let the arms flop with the out-breath. Again. Again. In a way, that's the movement that encapsulates the theme of this whole class, releasing into presence. It's nice with the meditation to then let it, inform your daily life so you can drop right in, It doesn't take a lot of preliminary prep time. You just do it. Just drop. In Tibetan, it's called Nalnubapa. Nalnubapa means flop, basically, like drop in the natural state. And it's a teaching of how to meditate. Like a bundle of straw whose string has been cut, just flopping. Physically, mentally. The breath is natural. Good. So that's a taste, and it's a little slider of it. I just made my kids sliders before I came here. And then we'll do it again at the beginning of our longer sit. Yeah? So let's do 3 reps of the Narayaṇi prayer on your sheet. And then we'll do the Tāre mantra together. I'll say it, you repeat line by line, and then we'll do it 3 times together as a group. Śaraṇāgata dīnārtha, Śaraṇāgata dīnārtha, paritrāṇa parāyaṇe, paritrāṇa parāyaṇe, Sarvasyārti hare Devi, Sarvasyārti hare Devi, Narayaṇi namostute, Narayaṇi namostute. Together. Śaraṇāgata dīnārtha, paritrāṇa parāyaṇe, Sarvasyārti hare Devi, Narayaṇi namostute. Śaraṇāgata dīnārtha, paritrāṇa parāyaṇe, Sarvasyārti hare Devi, Narayaṇi namostute. Śaraṇāgata dīnārtha, paritrāṇa parāyaṇe, Sarvasyārti hare Devi, Narayaṇi namostute. Thank you. I intentionally did that one a little higher than I normally did because I know that men and women, sometimes we don't always line up with our voices. Did that feel nice for the women in the room? It's not always the same, but for women and men. And did it feel good for the men in the room? Could you sing that? Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. Sometimes when I'm singing in my comfortable register, the men are like, they have to go either really low or really high. Yeah? Have you felt that before in this room a little bit? Right. Did that feel better for you? Yeah? Yeah. Maybe each night I'll do a different key and we'll see what's the sweet spot. I want to teach you this mantra. I'm sure many of you have learned it before. This is a classic Tāre mantra, who's known as the Savioress, the female Buddha of compassion. Tāre literally means she who saves, or she who brings beings to the other shore. She's like, often she's depicted as having, I want to call it a sky boat, a boat in the stars, traversing the sky, the night sky, the stars. And Tāre also means star if the A's aren't long. So her name, if I didn't write it, but it's Tāre, it's 2 long A's. But if there's 1 long A or no long A's, it's star. She means star. It's my daughter's name too, who's 23, who prefers to be called a kid, or a child, not daughter, because they're gender non-binary. I always forget to do that. But Tāre, it was sweet. They called me and they're like, yeah, I found out that Tāre is a name for man and a woman in India. I was like, oh, good. I don't want you to change your name. Chandra is too, right? It's a name. It's a man's name, actually. More often I've heard than a woman's name. So Tāre. Often she's depicted as green, but also white. But there are 21 Tāres, right? And there's as many Tāres as there are stars in the sky, infinite. This emanation of the Great Mother, the ground of being, the absolute dimension. And so really, like all deities, in a way, manifestations of love and compassion and enlightened consciousness, they're infinite. But there's this classic tantra from the 11th century India called the Praises to the 21 Tāres. And Tāre, as the goddess, is praised in 21 different shlokas, highlighting her different characteristics. So she can be gold, she can be red, she can be blue, she can be dark blue, Ugra Tara is very fierce, like Kali. White Tara, there are a few white Taras, but one of them is Saraswati. Tara Vajra Saraswati is her name. So there's actually a lot of overlap within Tantra of Hindu and Buddhist goddesses. So I'm a sucker for Tara. She's my Ishtadevata, my tutelary deity. She's got my back, and she's, I have a very strong heart connection with her. And my mom taught me this mantra when I was a little girl, first mantra I ever learned. So I used to be a rock climber, and my mom would say, "Pray to Tara when you're up there on the fourth pitch." Trad climbing, not gym climbing. So I don't know, do people do that anymore? Everybody's in the gym. Anyway, Tara. So Om Tāre, Tuttāre, Ture, Svāhā. Repeat after me. Om Tāre, Tuttāre, Ture, Svāhā. You can say Svāhā with a W. Both are correct, I've learned from my Sanskrit teachers. A few of them say Svāhā is just a little bit more correct. So that's why I stick with that. I use the V. The ta is a strong, it's not a ta. In English, often we do like a softer T. This is more crisp. Tara, tara, and the R rolls. You want to try? Tara, tara. So not Tara, Tara. Tara, Tara. Tare means, oh, Tara. It's the vocative, calling to her. So, oh, Tara. That's what we're saying when we, Tare. Tuttāre, tut could be the declension of the word tud, which means power. Tara is, again, O Tara. So you could say, oh, Om, the universal cosmic sound of supreme consciousness. Om. Tāre, Tuttāre means Om, O Tara, O powerful Tara. You could say that. It's not 100% clear that the tut means that, because even my Tibetan scholars and Sanskrit scholars, nobody really knows, actually. It could just be magic. It doesn't have to mean something. Often mantras are not translated, but it's nice to know what we're saying. And we keep it in Sanskrit. So, Om Tāre, Tuttāre. Ture means swift. Swift. Svāhā, so be it. May it be so. But so be it, usually is the correct translation. So, Om, O Tara, Tuttāre, O powerful Tara, be swift. Like, come to me, come to the aid of beings. Svāhā, do we need to let people in, or?
I think they might be here for late ones.
For the other one? That's okay. That's fine. So I didn't finish having you repeat after me. So Ture, say Om Tāre, Om Tāre, Tuttāre, Ture, Svāhā. Good. So as we chant to her, we'll chant for a little while with the melody, and feel her in any way that feels intuitive to you. If you know what she looks like, you can imagine her in the sky above you. Green Tara, white Tara, gold Tara, whatever color comes to you. She has 2 arms, 2 legs, sitting on a moon disk and a lotus. But all of that, just let it be organic, like a rainbow in the sky. She appears, yet is not solid. And it's a feeling too. So you might just feel her in your heart as love. So open to that. Okay, let's take some breaths and close our eyes. Om Tāre, Tuttāre, Ture, Svāhā. 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 Om Tāre Tuttāre Ture 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 Svāhā. Om Tāre Ture Svāhā. Om Tāre Tuttāre Ture Svāhā. Om Tāre Tuttāre Ture Svāhā. Om Tāre Tuttāre Ture Svāhā. Let's open our eyes. In all activities, train with the slogans. These kind of short one-liners that we've been learning. This is the 9th one, number 9. Your favorite number. Let's move it. Yes, thank you. It's locked, I think. No, it's not. Okay. Yeah, that's good because we'll do it again later. So you can move it back if you want to. Now you can read. In all activities, train with the slogans. So have these slogans been living with you a bit? With those of you who have been coming? Have you been thinking about them a bit? Which ones have stuck with you? Did we do 8? Were you here last week?
You were. Okay. Here were the 3 poisons for your
Oh yeah, that was a big one. You don't remember? You were already transcendent. You had transformed all of them into the supreme virtue, which is non-conceptuality. Yeah, I want to hear which one have you been chewing on? Yeah,
I would say the 2 for me that show up are 2 and 6.
2 and 6.
Regard all dharmas as streams, and in post meditation be a child.
Nice, good. Yeah, those are the juicy ones. Yeah. Who else? Yeah, Katie.
2 has stuck with me as well, the slogans and streams, and also just the practice of Tonglen, which we've been doing, and kind of, I guess, relates to
6.
7. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I've just been visiting that practice more often.
Like on the go?
On the go.
Nice.
On the not go.
On the stop and go.
Yeah.
On the merry-go-round.
Yeah, when I'm kind of in maybe a point of of heartbreak for somebody else's suffering, of like, what do I do here?
Yeah.
For my own or somebody else's suffering, that I can just drop into that and feel like, something's being done with this energy.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, the core of all of these slogans is getting us to a point where we can do that, where we can, it's called, they say exchange self and other. Right? And a more modern way to say it is put ourselves in other people's shoes, like how would I feel if I was that person, or how would I want to be treated, or how would that feel? Yeah. Thank you, both of you. Maybe one more?
Self-liberate, even the antidote.
Ah, good. It's one of my favorites too. In what way?
Just, always trying to find like the fix or the thing that cures you, and then releasing that.
Yeah.
Just being.
Nice. Can everybody hear? You could hear? Do you want to say it again louder?
Yeah. Self-liberate, even the antidote, the fix.
Let go of the fixing mind. And what is the antidote, right?
Yeah.
You remember what the core antidote is that they were talking about?
Remind me.
Maybe I'll ask the group. Who remembers? Emptiness. Right? Because we can reify emptiness and make it a thing. That even emptiness is empty. Emptiness is the quality of phenomena, quality of experience. It's not a thing to reify like a god up there. Oh, supreme is empty. So they say, self-liberate even that. Because you found the ultimate remedy, emptiness. So naturally liberate even that. Rangdrol is the word that they're translating for self-liberate. But my Tibetan Lama who just died, Gyaltso Rinpoche, he said he didn't like the self-liberation. It sounds funny, but I think we get it. It's a reflexive marker, rang. But he said natural. So we started translating it as natural liberation. So you can say naturally liberate even the antidote. Just let it, it's like the natural liberation that comes when you let go. Yeah, let go of the thoughts. But I didn't let you talk a little bit more about it. You want to say a little bit more? You don't have to, but I realized you didn't really share.
Well, I mean, I guess
More.
I missed the day that self-liberating the antidote, but I think the play of those two is really similar to that, which is,
Yeah.
I guess specifically for me, noticing where I've been using emptiness as a hammer
Uh-huh.
to
Yeah.
bypass a little bit, and
Yep.
letting go of even that and trying to come back.
Cool.
Yeah, so that's why those two have sort of been balanced for me.
Yeah. 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 It's like the mind's empty and yet it's still here, right? So you get to feel what that's like.
Try to do something with it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like it's empty, but it's still aware. We're aware. There's a cognizance. That's the nature of mind. Yeah. Were you going to say something?
I was going to say, like, if we think we're using emptiness, is that really emptiness?
Exactly. Yeah. What is it? Good question. It's a facsimile. It's an idea. Keep going with that. Anything else?
That's it. There's nothing there.
Good. Easy. You get off easy. He's naturally liberated. Even that. Okay. Cool. So this is it. How in all activities, whatever you're doing, walking, driving, eating, arguing with your partner or whatever, can you be a child of illusion? Can you self-liberate even, or naturally liberate even the antidote? Can you exchange yourself for another? Can you do Tonglen in the moment, especially when you're triggered? Especially when you're triggered, okay? That's the magic. That's the alchemy. It's almost easier to practice when you're really pissed off because you're so desperate. You're like, get me out of this. I'm in hell realm. What do I do? Oh, wait a minute. Tonglen. Right. Let's try it. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. After years of studying it, I'm still forget, and then I have to remember. Oh, I've got the tool, Tonglen. And it's so intelligent, It's like fucking smart. It's such a great way to relate to the world. It really changes things, It takes you from like an immature practitioner to a mature practitioner. If you I'm getting the chills. These practices, you could go all the way with these. Someone asked me why the absolute bodhichitta teachings in the beginning. The first 6 are about emptiness. Why do that? It's like you're thrown in way into the deep end. And then with 7, we start with the relative bodhichitta, the Tonglen, compassion practices, these Dharma teachings, how to bring it into your daily life, how to take all joys and sorrows onto the path. I haven't really emphasized that, but that'll be next week. We get into the point 3, and then it's just all that. It's called Lam Kyer. Lam Kyer. Lam, it means path. It's yana in Sanskrit. And Kyer means to take. So take it all onto the path. How do we take it all onto the path? So it's what we're warming up to. It's what we've been prepping. So why absolute bodhicitta? Why emptiness? All that profundity at the beginning? Well, it's like the map. It teaches us the view that we need to hold while we're doing all these other things. It's really cool. In the beginning, I first started teaching this, 10, 12 years ago, as a early teacher. I had been teaching Dharma already for a while, but I hadn't taught the Lojong yet. I was nervous to teach all those slogans, those deep slogans right off the bat. Why? Oh my God, to teach about nature of mind and emptiness. And, it's deep stuff. And then you keep coming back to it, keep coming back to it. It's like in the Tonglen, then we can flash on the emptiness, that first step of just like explode everything you think and then come back and boom, settle. Okay, now we're doing the practice. Okay, so it's memorize them as much as you can. Your favorites, memorize them. And then when you're meditating, you can even contemplate them. Okay, naturally liberate even the antidote. What does that feel like? And so if you're training your mind in meditation, then you're more likely to remember them in life, in the other activities of your day. If we don't really, my Lama Tsultrim says, it's hard to have post-meditation without meditation. You have to meditate, right? And same with this. You have to really let these slogans get into your DNA, into your bone marrow. Alan Wallace, another important mentor of mine, says that the cultivation of ultimate bodhicitta, emptiness, essentially, that's synonymous. Ultimate bodhicitta, whenever you hear ultimate or absolute bodhicitta, just think emptiness. Okay? And it's actually also the nature of your mind. So, we could tease that out a little bit, but to move on here, I just want to read this quote. The cultivation of ultimate bodhicitta is designed. Does anybody not know what bodhicitta is? You don't have to raise your hand if it's, I don't want to put you on the spot, but it's that bodhicitta. Bodhi is like awakened, illuminated, like Buddha, and then chitta is heart mind. It's the consciousness that sits here. It's everywhere. So bodhicitta is this aspiration to awaken, not just for yourself, but for all beings. That's what bodhicitta is. People will I often say, oh, bodhicitta, compassion, but it's not just compassion. That's karuna. Bodhicitta is that compassionate aspiration to wake up for yourself and all your sixth graders, or seventh graders, eighth graders, especially the eighth graders. I have an eighth grader who's going into ninth grade. So we do, yeah, I know. So he says, Alan Wallace says, the cultivation of ultimate bodhicitta is designed to counteract self-grasping through the realization of emptiness, the lack of inherent existence of phenomena, including yourself. So twofold emptiness, outer and inner, phenomena and self. So that's what ultimate bodhicitta is all about. Those are the first 6 slogans. Then he says, the practice of relative bodhicitta is designed to counteract self-centeredness, which is slightly different. He used self-grasping in the first one, but they're related. The whole point of all Buddhist paths is to overcome self-centeredness. So thinking me, I and mine, I, me, mine. And then we break free of that. Through relative bodhicitta is all the compassion practices. It's the 4 measurables of metta, karuna, mudita, and upeksha, or upeka. Right? Loving kindness, compassion, equanimity, and joy. It's the 6 perfections. We've learned all of this, right? Mm-hmm. Generosity, ethics, or ethical discipline. Patience, joyful effort or enthusiastic effort, and then concentration, and then wisdom, pragya paramita, the 6 perfections, paramitas. So that's all relative bodhicitta training. And what is that for? To pacify, to tame, to heal your tendency to be self-centered. So again, feeling for others, having an open heart. Whereas ultimate bodhicitta gets at the self-grasping. Isn't that interesting? This difference he's making, this distinction he's making. So why do you think that the first one, ultimate bodhicitta, is getting at self-grasping, self-clinging? What is that?
That your ego is who you are.
Uh-huh. Right. So grasping onto a sense of self or ego. And what Buddha taught is that it's an illusion. So you're reifying something that doesn't even exist. And then you're suffering on top of all of that because you're reifying an illusion, a lie. You're living a lie. And so when you understand emptiness, then you let go of that because it's like water. You realize, oh, there's nothing to grasp. There's no self, anatma. anatman, non-self. So, whereas the relative, the compassion practices, the loving kindness practices, that teaches us how to be like a good 8th grader, like to be a nice person. We can't lie and get away with it. Like my 8th grader, he's been lying a little bit. I came home from his basketball camp today with a sprained ankle or a twisted ankle. And I don't know if I should have said this, but I said, "Are you being honest?" Because I knew he didn't want to do this thing tonight. He was going to have to go do. I'm like, "Are you just conveniently limping around?" No. I'm like, "Okay, I said that because you've been lying a lot lately." It's like, "Mom, okay." Then I took him seriously, gave him some ice and some Advil and put his foot up and all that. But living a lie, living a lie, self-centered, self-grasping is the living the lie. Self-centered is thinking that you are the center of the universe and not being able to put yourself in other people's shoes and feel that empathy and compassion. Okay? So that's the function of ultimate bodhicitta, emptiness, and relative bodhicitta, compassion, bodhisattva training stuff. Okay? So that is why we train in all these slogans. We're constantly kind of juggling those two and deepening in them. So one thing that Traleg Rinpoche said in his book called, I think it's just called Lojong Slogans. It's called Practice of Lojong by Traleg Kyabgon. If you want to know that name, you can come up to me afterwards. I'll spell it for you. But he made a really sweet point. He said that Lojong slogans help to flip our usual reactions on their head. Well, that's kind of my wording, but that's what the gist he was saying. And then he goes, in a way, it is about the third of the 4 measurables, which is empathetic joy. So how to have, and so that's not just being fake, like I'm this joyful person. It's actually about rejoicing in the good fortune, the gifts, the beauty of others, instead of being jealous and comparing yourself with somebody else. If you see a beautiful woman or handsome person, man, whoever, instead of thinking, "Oh, I wish I looked like them," "Oh my God, you're so beautiful," Or if somebody's kid just made it into Harvard and your kid doesn't go to college, doesn't want to go to college, instead of being like, "Oh, my kid," comparing yourself, instead practice like rejoicing, like, "Oh, how wonderful that they got that. I'm so happy for them." So that is, in a sense, the thrust of all of these slogans. Okay, so, and then he went on, Kyabgon, not Traleg Kyabgon, said, everything we think, do, and say result in karmic imprints. Meditation leaves imprints in our minds so that when we are in post-meditation, we can remember them and draw from their wisdom. So meditate on the slogans, memorize them if you can, some of them, all of them, and then apply them in your life. Okay, so that's the commentary to number 9. So now we're going to do number 10, but less talking and more practice. But I just want to set it up here because this is going back to how we should practice the Tonglen. Who wants to read slogan number 10 out loud? Nice and strong, supported with your belly.
In the sequence of sending and taking with yourself.
Good. Okay. I just love that. I love that. So we can have a chance to work with all of the stuff, the stuff that we don't want to see or feel, or we wish would go away, like self-loathing, criticism, depression, anger, guilt about who we are or what we've done, you name it. We all have stuff like that, right? And it gets in the way of our meditation often, right? Somebody came up to me after class last week and said, I'm trying to drop in and do my meditation, and I just hit all these thoughts of negative, criticism towards myself. What do I do with that? So this is addressing that. And the whole idea is that if we can do it for ourselves, we can do it for others. like the airplane, the mask comes down, you put it on yourself first, then you put it on your kid or your friend or whatever. So if we can make friends with these aspects of ourselves, then we're more likely to be able to understand others. Okay. So we're going to do it. We're going to practice. And I'll guide you through. We'll do our aroused bodhichitta. We'll do the Guru Yoga prayer again. And then I'll guide you in self Tonglen through kind of a landscape of how we can do that. Okay? And then we'll end with the Tāre mantra, the singing for a while. So let's stand up for a moment and stretch. Would you like me to guide you in a little movement, or do you want to just do your own thing? Either way is happy. I'm happy. You probably want all different things. Do some ballet. You want to do some pliés? I've been getting back into my ballet routines. Just do what you want. Do what you want. You could do the joint rolls, jetés, padmas. You can head rolls. Keep your breath breathing. Listen to your body. What does your body want? Feel free to sigh, make some noises if you want to. Whew. It's nice to get the upside down a little bit, traction the neck and spine. Can stretch. I always like to squat. Get the hips a little bit more open. Release the low back. Could do a lunge if you have space. Down dog, up dog, whatever you like. Let's do about 30 more seconds. And then when you feel ready, you can start to make your meditation throne, your little island of sanity. Really make sure you've got what you need. There's all sorts of wonderful props around here, and we've got great chairs in the back. And if taking care of yourself today means you meditate in the supine position, then please don't be shy. You can get an extra zabuton and make a longer platform for your body. One day I'm going to meditate lying down in front of you, and just to, because it's like if the teacher does it, then people feel a little bit, but not tonight. But, when it feels right, I'm going to show you how I do it and hopefully break the wall if you've got that in your mind. So, but do what's comfortable for you. We'll sit for about, for the rest of the class, about 45 minutes. If you'd like, you can take the bodhichitta mudra, which is the single-pointed intention mudra. The middle finger's pointing up, the other finger's crossed, and the thumb's parallel. Signifies the single-pointed intention to awaken for the benefit of self and others. This opening to the connection, the web, shunyata, Indra's net that links all of us. Make your own personal bodhichitta prayer. And release the hands. And take some deep breaths. Let your body and mind sync up, arriving fully in the body from the soles of the feet all the way up to the crown of the head, the periphery of the skin. Feel the breath as if it was breathing like a global breath within the body, all aspects, and oxygenating the blood, the tissues. Just take a few moments to really settle into this simplicity of being in the moment, this Nānubap. Let's go ahead and do it even. Let's raise the arms with the in-breath. We'll do 3 times. And then drop. Inhale. Inhale. Can you feel that nothing special mind? Even release the sense of I am doing this, I am meditating. See if you can soften the posturing around it and feel more natural, at ease within yourself. And feel the belly as you breathe. See if you can invite the breath to really inhabit the belly as the diaphragm descends with the in-breath. And then release the belly as the diaphragm rises with the out-breath, helping the lungs to empty of air. Can you breathe all the way down into your pelvic floor? Can you breathe down into your legs, feet? And now for this moment of acknowledging the teacher, whether it's an archetype, being of light, or myth, or another dimension, or an actual teacher in a body in this life. But the simple practice of Guru Yoga as taught by Jamgon Kongtrul. Imagine a being of light. You can feel into who this might be for you. Maybe it's Tāre, Buddha, Krishna, God, Mother Mary, a human teacher you might have that you feel so much love and appreciation for. Feel them, sense them in the space above you. But not a flesh and bone, but a being of light, sitting on a moon disk upon a lotus flower. The word guru means heavy. So somebody who has gravitas, someone who reminds you of who you really are. Uplifts you. Feel them, perhaps imagine their color, or even just feel it as a warmth or presence, like a sunlight on your skin. And see that their body is radiant and that their face is happy and smiling as they regard all beings in a kind of non-referential compassion, meaning equal compassion for all beings. Like Dalai Lama or Avalokiteshvara. Whoever comes to mind, go with it. Like an experiment, see how it feels. And that within this being are the blessings of all your other teachers. It's called the soul refuge. This particular being of light is the embodiment of all your root and lineage teachers. It's like they represent all of that. And with a feeling of, as much as feels organic for you, a feeling of respect and devotion, we'll repeat this lineage prayer. I'll say it to you 3 times and let it sink in. I pray for your blessing, my teacher, great and completely worthy spiritual friend, Kalyana Mitra. I pray that you will cause love, compassion, and bodhichitta to arise in my mind. I pray for your blessing, my teacher, great and completely worthy spiritual friend. I pray that you will cause love, compassion, and bodhichitta to arise in my mind. I pray for your blessing, my teacher, great and completely worthy spiritual friend. I pray that you will cause love, compassion, and bodhichitta to arise in my mind. And then imagine that this being descends through the aperture of your crown of your head, the Brahma aperture, descending down through your central channel, and then sits in your heart chakra in a pavilion of light, like an open shell. And feel that the luminosity, the blessings of this being resides in that heart center as you practice and even throughout your day and night. What does that feel like? Do you feel a sense of warmth or a kindling of blessings or sensation in your heart? It's like, what would it feel like to have the Buddha in your heart? Perhaps it's a remembrance, reminding you of your Buddha nature, your ultimate bodhicitta. And after doing this Guru Yoga, now we shift into breath awareness for 21 breaths. We'll do a couple rounds of 21. The text says you can do them again and again as long as you need to let the mind settle, the concentration to stabilize. Well, maybe we'll do 2 rounds tonight. Normally we do 1. So just feel the sensation of your breath As it flows in and out of the body, you might like to anchor your awareness at your belly, or the whole field of sensations within the body, or the aperture above the upper lip at the opening of the nostrils there. And if you like body scanning, you could do that now. Vipassana, Goenka style, whatever feels good to you, whatever helps your mind drop deeper into concentration. Do that in silence. 2 rounds of 21. If you want to count, it's at the top of each breath, a silent counting. If you lose track, just return and start again. And now dropping the counting or whatever technique you were doing. And then stumble into a flash of emptiness, just open to it. Flash on emptiness. It's almost as if your consciousness gets cosmic and infinitely small all at once. You are you, you are everything. This fabric and non-solidity of the sense of self, which is just really a rising and passing of thoughts, memories, feelings, heartbeats, breaths, pulses. Recognizing there's no solid thing called you or anything else for that matter. And yet appearances arise. In fact, it's because of emptiness things are born and die. The impermanent, interconnected nature of all phenomena is the flip side of emptiness, shunyata. And then feel your body, your awareness pervading the body like an inner landscape within the skin, but also boundless. Like a landscape with rolling fields or mountains, rivers, space, darkness, light, whatever you find. Feel your body like an inner landscape. And then feel areas where there's spaciousness, openness, ease. And breathe into those spaces. And then feeling where there might be more condensed energy or concentration of intensity or emotion or sensation. And breathe into those places. Feeling that within us there's all these things happening at once, but the breath can pervade all of it. If it's helpful, you can even imagine your body like a hollow balloon with those landscape textures, space and matter within you. All these different dimensions and feelings. Let the breath pervade. In a sense, you're shaking hands with, you're getting to know, you're feeling what's here with you right now. Maybe there's a tightness in your belly or in your heart or in your jaw. Just noticing that. And then I invite you to bring a hand, left or right is fine, onto your heart chakra right in the center. You could even do two hands if you want. One hand on top of the other. And start to breathe in and out from there. This plexus of energy at your heart center. Feel the breath, feel the heartbeat beneath the palms. Breathe at the front, the side, the back body. Above and below, expanding and releasing with each breath. And let your mind drop down into that space of the heart, the center, the hridaya, the innermost cavern of the heart chakra. And feel that in that depth of awareness is a spark of light, a flame or flicker. And that with each breath it becomes a bit stronger and stronger. Let your awareness rest there. It's a bit kind of a balance of sensing what's organically there, but also inviting the imagery of an orb of light to grow and rest within the center of the heart. This is your Buddha nature, that spark of the seed of Buddhahood within you, the nature of your own mind. So aerate that area, open to it, oxygenate it, let it grow and shine within you like the sun. And it's this nature of mind that is beyond birth and death. They said it's like a vajra, adamantine or indestructible nature. And it's this orb of light that is the embodiment, the representation, the representative of your Buddha mind. And we'll use it with the breath now. We'll begin to feel through the body landscape one of those denser areas, something you might need to heal or turn towards, something you might be avoiding, resisting, not liking. It can be a thought, but also a feeling, a sensation. Invite that wherever it is in the body, like you're breathing it into that orb of light at your heart. And then with the out-breath, soften the resistance. Just let it be there. Let it be home in the heart space. So with each breath, we're riding the breath. Inhale, drawing that feeling into the heart space. And breathing out a feeling of release, letting go of resistance, integration. Relax and release the struggle with the out-breath. So perhaps it's anger. You could invite that anger with the in-breath to draw into the heart. Where it heals, it transforms. Perhaps there's a remedy there of patience or understanding. Or maybe it just needs to come home and relax into the bed of your heart, a soft space. Self-Tonglen, welcoming home that which you would normally push away with the in-breath. And then with the out-breath, softening, and then also sending to yourself, the body, the mind, healing through whether it's acceptance or spaciousness or just relaxing around it. Whatever's intuitive to you with the out-breath. So we'll do that for a while. If you'd like, you can roam from thought or feeling or need to need. Practice in silence for a short period of time. And feel your hands like the metaphoric capacity to hold yourself even within the ugly stuff, the heartbreak, the disappointment. Breathe it into the heart. Soften around it with the out-breath. Let it be there. Just let it be. So healing. Even if it's something like distracted mind in meditation, breathe that in. Hold it. Because there's a lot of baggage around that. Self-criticism, disappointment, frustration. Breathe all of that in, whatever you find. Lam kir, take it on the path. And then if you haven't already, release your hands from your heart and let go of the effort, let go of the visualization. Just feel that afterglow as you glide back into shamatha, calm abiding. Just let the mind settle in its natural state for a while. It's feeling natural, simple, just resting, breathing. And we'll conclude by chanting the Tāre mantra for a while. If you need to open your eyes, you can, or you can just start to move your mouth with us. And maybe it comes naturally now without the visual support. Om Tāre Tuttāre Ture Svāhā. 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 Now quiet. Om Tāre Tuttāre Ture Svāhā. 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 Dedicate the merit of all of this practice together for the benefit of all beings everywhere, near and far, seen and unseen, the world and beyond. Thank you. Hmm. So, you recognize that melody? Om Mani Padme Hum, Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Same. It's just with the Tāre mantra, it's 10 syllables instead of 6. So you have to prolong it a little bit. Common Tibetan melody. We can recycle the melodies and apply them to different deities. But I felt her presence really strong tonight, chanting with you all. It's very beautiful. One of my mentors of language, Tibetan language, was a wise old man named Kuno, Tibetan man who was a monk in the Tibetan government in Lhasa as a young man when, in the Tibetan government, they would have a monastic and a lay person for every position. So he was one of them. He was a monk. And he was in the Potala when the Chinese came and invaded in 1959, March 1959. So he let go of his vows and he picked up a gun and he fought. But it was, kind of a fruitless cause, really. Obviously, they got mowed over by the Chinese, but then later he escaped Tibet with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. So he happened, when I was a student at UCSB, he happened to be living there because his benefactors sponsored him. So he came, and there were some cool circumstances that brought us together. We met. I was the first student in the religious studies department and the chair of Tibetan Buddhist studies at UCSB. I'd come back from India. They just funded it. It was the second only to Columbia. And the chair, Richard Hecht of the religious studies department, asked me to give a slideshow because my hobby in India was taking slides way back in the day. And so I gave a slideshow to the benefactors, and like Robert Thurman was there, Alan Wallace, who had just gotten the job as lecturer in that position at UCSB, and then Kuno was there. He came up to me afterwards and was very sweet. He said, if you'd like to keep studying Tibetan, I can be your teacher. Mm-hmm. So I wound up having like the best teacher ever back in Santa Barbara after living in India for a year, trying to find, my teacher, both spiritually and Tibetan language-wise. But he was an expert. He had invented the Tibetan typewriter. Yeah, he was the first Tibetan language teacher at the Library of Tibetan Works and Archives. And founded in 1972 in Dharamsala. That's where I studied. Anyway, he was here tonight too. Kuno. He was my popola, my grandpa. He taught me about Tāre. He was a devotee of Tāre. He loved her very deeply. And he would always say that she brought us together and she was watching over us. We traveled to India together. He was a very important person in my life. So I felt him very strongly. He died about 10 years ago, but I felt him here. Anyway, and he was a Lojong. He was a Lojong practitioner. So I just wanted to share that, a little bit of history. Tāre, Lojong, they go hand in hand. The people who are devoted to Lojong are also Tāre devotees. And so Atisha, who brought the Lojong teachings to Tibet, was a devotee of Tāre. And he brought many practices and texts to Tibet from India on her, namely on green and white Tāre. So there's a deep history here. So chanting with you all just felt very powerful to me. I don't know if you felt that, but I felt her here with us. It's intuitive, It's not logical, and it shouldn't be logical. So open your heart to that and see what comes. Lama Tsultrim says, let go and let Tāre. All right. So I'll sit up here if you have questions, or if you're new, you want to introduce yourself. come and say hi. I like to meet you. Or if you have a question, you can come up to me. There's also tea in the lobby, and you can make friends and talk to people there. A couple announcements. I am going to be gone on the 27th, so there won't be any class. We're going to cancel it. I couldn't find a sub. And then 4th of July is the next Tuesday, and so we decided to cancel that too. So we're going to have a two-week break. So come next class for sure. We'll keep going. We'll open into the lamkir more deeply, the taking everything onto the path, and then you'll get to meditate and chew on that for a couple of weeks, and we'll come back and talk about it. Okay, bye-bye, everybody. See you. Thank you.
I do have one announcement.
Oh, yeah,
I want to
sorry.
share. Actually, I was going to make an announcement about an event coming up on the 24th with the teacher that he's familiar
Yeah.
with.
That was okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
June 24th, Śaraṇāgata, she's a scholar, practitioner of Shakta Tantra,
Nice.
and she'll be here. Ryan and I and a bunch of other people have done a bunch of workshops with her at Esalen.
Cool. Nice.
So I'll be here, super excited.
Shravana.
Yeah, Śaraṇāgata, Gorkataki, Varma. Right?
And what date is that again? The 29th?
24th.
24th.
Saturday.
Saturday the 24th, just for folks. Is it going to be streamed or maybe not?
I don't know.
I don't think
I don't
workshops are,
believe
right?
it's-
Yeah, a lot.
No,
Okay.
she's not gonna stream.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. She gives Shaktipat, maybe you don't want to stream. Maybe you do. Okay, thank you. That sounds great. Thanks, Hannah. Thanks, you guys.